3 weeks ago, the apartment learned to breathe. I didn't. I couldn't. Spreadsheets blurred when the air behind me shifted, as though someone leaned in to crib my numbers. I whipped around, half ready to scold my roommate Kate for sneaking up on me. But there was nothing. Just the empty doorway and the darkened hallway beyond. My call echoed. No answer. A note on the fridge confirmed Kate was at her boyfriend's place for the week. Her text chimed.
Back on Friday unless you need me sooner. You should invite some life in.
Alone. Yet the breath remained, warm as a stranger's hand on my neck. I've always considered myself a rational person. I'm the friend who debunks ghost stories and explains away strange noises in old houses. I don't believe in the supernatural, and I'm not prone to anxiety or paranoia, so I did what any reasonable person would do. I ignored it. Just my brain playing tricks after too many hours staring at spreadsheets.
You should invite some life in.
Kate had texted that morning with her trademark sunflower emoji. But the next night, it happened again. That same crawling sensation of a presence just behind me, this time stronger, more defined. I could almost feel the displacement of air, as if someone was leaning in, inches from the back of my neck. Again, I turned. Again, nothing. But in the hallway mirror, I caught a glimpse of something, a shadow that didn't match my own, stretching longer before vanishing. When I raised my hand in disbelief, the shadow's fingers stretched impossibly long for a single heartbeat. I set traps, cheap, childish ones. I'd place my chair against the wall while working so nothing could be behind me. Relief lasted 5 heartbeats. Then the presence perched overhead, silent, taloned, patient. I began adjusting the mirror on my desk so I could see the space behind me without turning around. By the end of the first week, I had become accustomed to spinning around every few minutes, casually, as if reaching for something. My roommate noticed when she returned. Kate watched me over breakfast, eyes narrowed, questioning my constant pivoting. I hadn't realized it was so obvious. I mumbled an excuse about a spider sighting the day before. She seemed to accept this, but I caught her watching me throughout the day. I didn't want to tell her the truth, that I was constantly fighting the overwhelming conviction that something was standing just behind me, watching, waiting, that it seemed to retreat whenever someone else was nearby. By the second week, the presence had become more tangible. I started noticing the feeling was most intense in certain areas of the apartment, the hallway outside the bathroom, the corner of my bedroom, and especially my desk chair. I began avoiding these places when possible, and when unavoidable, I'd rush through them, heart pounding. I surrendered to insomnia's fluorescent glare. The clock on my nightstand began showing 3:27 a.m. each time I jolted awake. No matter how many hours had passed, when I checked my phone, the time was always different, but the red display on my nightstand never changed. Last Tuesday, things escalated. I was washing my face in the bathroom sink when the presence settled heavily behind me. The feeling was so intense that I froze, water spider walking off my chin, unable to look up at the mirror, because I absolutely knew, that if I raised my eyes to the reflection, I would see something standing behind me. I remained bent over the sink for what felt like hours, though it was probably only minutes. Finally, I forced myself to straighten up and look. Nothing. Just my own pale face staring back at me, dark circles under my eyes from lack of sleep. But my shadow on the wall stretched too far up behind me, nearly touching the ceiling. As I exhaled with relief, I heard it. A soft exhale that wasn't mine, just slightly out of sync with my own breathing. I whirled around, heart hammering in my chest. The bathroom was empty. I checked behind the shower curtain, looked in the cabinet under the sink. Nothing that could explain what I'd heard. That night, I called my sister. After several minutes of small talk, I admitted something was wrong with me. My voice cracked as I tried to explain the constant sensation of being watched, followed, the feeling of a presence always just behind me. Even as we spoke, I kept glancing over my shoulder. Her response was medical, rational, inner ear problems, spatial awareness issues. Her logical explanation brought immediate relief. Of course, There had to be a logical explanation. The next morning, I found myself in Dr. Reeves's examination room. Fluorescence, cold stethoscope, verdict, anxiety.
Try these. Sleep first, MRI later.
I took the sleep aid he prescribed that night and actually managed to get a few hours of uninterrupted sleep. When I woke the next morning, I felt more like myself. The present seemed to have receded somewhat, lingering at the edges of my awareness rather than constantly breathing down my neck. I decided to work from home again, hoping the familiar routine would help me feel grounded. For a few hours it worked. The sensation was still there but muted, manageable, until 3:27 p.m. I remember checking the time just before it happened. I was reaching for my coffee mug when I heard it clearly. A soft inhalation right behind my left ear. Not my own breathing. Something else. I froze, hands suspended midair, too terrified to turn around. The breathing continued, slow, measured, deliberate. In and out. In and out. I could feel the subtle displacement of air against my neck with each exhale. Fighting against every instinct, screaming at me to run, I slowly turned my head. Nothing visible, but the breathing didn't stop. If anything, it shifted, moving to stay just behind my head, always in my blind spot. In the window reflection, my shadow rippled like something was moving inside it. My whisper ruptured. Stop it. The breathing paused. 1 second. 2 seconds. Then it resumed, now accompanied by the faintest sound of movement, the subtle shifting of weight, like someone adjusting their stance. I ran, blind flight, 3 stories of stairs, into the street until I collapsed into a coffee shop chair, lungs burning, sweat soaked. I called Kate, trying to keep my voice steady as I asked if she could meet me. I couldn't tell her the truth, so I made up a story about a burst pipe in our apartment. She agreed to let me stay at her boyfriend's place for the night, while she checked on our apartment.
Everything's fine.
She texted me later.
No leaks anywhere, but you left all the lights on and your computer running. Are you sure you're okay?
I told her I was just stressed, and thanked her for checking. I spent the night on her boyfriend's uncomfortable couch, but I slept better than I had in weeks. Whatever was happening, it seemed confined to my apartment. But there was something different about Kate's text. She usually signed with her trademark sunflower emoji. This message ended with a period. So precise. So final. The next morning I tried calling her, but she didn't answer. I left a voicemail asking if I could crash on her couch again. No response. By evening, I realized I had no choice but to return home. I bought a $29 Wi-Fi cam and a palm-sized mirror, the kind fortune tellers flip for bad news. The moment I unlocked my door, I knew something was different. The presence wasn't behind me anymore. For the first time in weeks, I couldn't feel it, hovering at my back. 3 steps into the apartment, I saw her. Kate was sitting on our couch, her back to me. I called her name, mentioned my unanswered texts. The door clicked shut behind me. She didn't respond or turn around. The air felt pressurized, like the room inhaled and refused to exhale. I moved slowly around the couch, mirror clutched in my hand. Kate sat unnaturally straight, hands placed too precisely on her knees. Her eyes were open, staring straight ahead at nothing. A new fear built inside me as I approached her. Slowly, period. Her head turned toward me, movement jerky like a marionette, neural joints clicking softly. The sound of bone grinding against bone. Words came from Kate's mouth, but her lips barely moved, the sound flat and wrong. She spoke of worry, of coming to check on me. I backed away, my heart pounding, questioning who or what was speaking. A smile spread across Kate's face, too wide, stretching her lips unnaturally. I raised the mirror, angling it toward her. In the reflection, Kate's face was blank. Empty. The smile existed only when viewed directly. Kate's body jerked back with a sound like radio feedback, then recovered, glaring at the mirror. Her voice deepened as she continued.
Weeks of watching me. Always behind me. just beneath perception.
I fumbled for the door handle as I backed away. Kate's voice continued without emotion.
No escape from what always waits behind. No outrunning it. A better option now available.
Kate's body stood up in a single, fluid movement that no human could make, as if pulled upright by strings. Her voice explained the rules with terrifying simplicity.
An invitation always required. No need to stay hidden anymore.
I managed to get the door open and stumbled backward into the hallway. Kate's body took a step toward me, still smiling that horrible smile. Final words flowed from her frozen grin.
Run if you want, always behind you, or perhaps waiting in every face you'll meet.
I ran. I haven't stopped running. I'm writing this from a motel, 50 miles from my apartment. The digital clock on the nightstand flickers, number settling on 3:27. The breathing has started again. It's right behind me now, as I type this. I just checked the mirror above the motel sink. My face stared back, then the lips peeled back, revealing too many teeth. I didn't smile. The breath inside my lungs shifts, like a hand in a puppet. Something flexing beneath my skin, testing its control. I'm trying to finish this warning before it takes over completely. My fingers feel strange on the keyboard, like they're being guided by something else. If you ever develop that sensation of someone standing just behind you, don't ignore it. Don't try to rationalize it away. And whatever you do, don't let it follow you for too long. Because eventually, it finds a way in. The digital clock flicks to 3:28. For the first time in weeks. The bulb blinks out. But in the darkness, I'm finally smiling.